Good afternoon, everyone. So before I start, so as Padma has rightly put that I'm a business analyst, so I'm certified business analyst. So my certification is from IIBA, which is a similar body like STC, who recognizes, who establishes a lot of guidelines for business analysts, and they also certify you at a different levels of your experience of a business analyst. And before that, I was into mainstream technical writing. But yes, my major experience was like playing a mixed role in business analysis and technical writing. So eventually, in my career, the way it helped me being a business analyst, approaching things in a more analytical way, is something that I would like to share with you, and also kind of like trigger a little bit of thought process that how we can, similarly go about in our daily content writing work, and how we can be more showing empathy towards our user. I'm sure with Mugda's sessions and with so many parallel sessions, what is empathy and how we are doing about it, what is the definition we all know today. I mean, we know it right well enough, so I will not be dealing more on what is empathy, but rather how to approach, and so how can you do it better, being just evoking that thought process of how a business analyst does and what even we can do it even better way. So, okay, let's get started. I would be very, frequently using this book called Babok, which is a business analysis body of knowledge, which is published by IIBA, which are like different guidelines, techniques, and different sort of thought process, knowledge areas, how a business analyst does work, what are the different processes that they follow while they're approaching their requirements gathering, elicitation, enterprise analysis kind of work. So I'll be kind of taking some references from that, but I'll not be talking much about it because it becomes a little intimidating, because it's like an ocean of lot of things. So I'll give you a reference how you can get into it and you can read. So that will be like the last part of my presentation on. So anywhere you want to understand a little bit more, just feel free to stop me, because my thing is we want an interactive session. I want to deal with the real challenges that technical writers we have, and if I could just help you in solving such things with this kind of role. How many times this happens with us? We forget our purpose. Does it happen really? Yes? Okay, so real life example. I'm a mother, I have a 2-year-old kid. I'm a very elaborate cook. So when initially I always have this thought process that, okay, my kid, I should give him nutrition-based food, a lot of healthy stuff and all. But since I have my own style of cooking, which is like very spicy and, a lot of detailing and a lot of designing things that I have in my mind. So and the end result is always something very not good, not very, nutrition, obviously. It's like more of, it's tasty. So tasty food is never nutrition based. It is done, we know that. So my kid is always like looking at me and he's like thirsty forever because the spice is so heat. So yes, I forget my purpose. I forget my user, what will be useful for him or her at that point. So I'm sure in our writing also we do that, right? We just try to bring in, someday we have a very good mood, we'll write very nicely, we'll have all sorts of pictures, images we'll try to put. One day we are a little bad, we are like, oh, lazy, let it just go today. Only content, that's it, we are happy with it, right? So if you have such examples, can you just share someone, like when you really got backfired, or it's something that fallen flat on you when you really forgot the purpose? Do we encounter such things? For me, it happens. When I'm writing proposals for my organization, most of the times, yes, we tend to just write whatever we have, all sorts of capabilities that our organization have, whether the company is really asking for it or not, that's not important. I know I have, let me write. So, yeah, so this is something that is something that we really, forget, and time to time in our daily work and all that. So what Babok says is, purpose of doing any work, any task should be loud and clear. We should be very clear about why are we doing anything, even a piece of writing, even a note that we are putting, any kind of warning messages, whatever we are doing. We need to know for whom we are doing it. That is our stakeholders, user. User is just one part of the stakeholder. Okay. So, let us just hold on to that thought. Challenges. So let us not, just don't look at this right now. I just want your participation in it. So what are the different kind of challenges as a technical writer we face? Before that, I don't want answers. My boss is not good. I don't have clarity about the SMEs are not available. The time estimation is not proper. Documentation tools are not there. No. I'm talking about in terms of where exactly we face challenges in the sense documentation gap or such things. Please audience, I would like some participation.
Inaccurate review.
Review, okay, what sense, inaccurate?
You send something to review, they change the meaning to it and then send it back to you.
So that means we are apprehending it in a wrong way, or is it that our understanding is lacking somewhere?
Yeah, because the entire review process has to be overall. That's what I personally believe. Because you send something for review, you have some n number of hours to do so. They have no clue what domain you are working on because you send it to peer reviews who are out of these different country or different states. They review it back to them, and it's completely changed. And now your crunch of time, you're meeting your deadline, it's all gone. And so something you send something like you said on a very bad mood day, you send something out for delivery, and it's not the purpose of it.
Yes. So you said what domain is sometimes confusing, right? So we land up in talking about a domain, but in different context. So there, exactly, this one good point, context. So we also kind of forget the objective, again the purpose, that thing that I've mentioned. The scope of content is something that I feel most of us, for product documentation, it is more or less in a, it's like very structured. But for things like, where we are like writing some kind of glossary or some kind of white papers or, some kind of marketing collaterals or something, there I think, I don't know how many of you are like ever have gone into or written a white paper or a blog or, some kind of marketing content. Any of you? Okay, somebody can relate to me. Yeah, so what happens is we kind of miss on the scope of the content. We try to over deliver. We try to sometimes even, the fear of the jargons that we are using, we try to even underwrite also. So all these things are real and these things happen. So it is right, this thing, what is there, what to leave, what to include, gap and so on. So when we are talking about the scope, how many times do we really talk to the subject matter experts or business analysts in real time? Do we really, do you guys interact with business analysts in your team? Yeah? So how far are they helpful to you? So is it that something BAs are always very knowledgeable from day one? No, it's not like thing like that. They are also similar human beings like we are. In fact, we have much better documentation skills. We have much better writing skills. But what is it that extra that they do? What all? Because they, even day one, when they have started in the onset of a project, they have bigger challenges because they have to start from business value. They have to talk first numbers and get the project first. So from there it starts. You have a question? Okay. So, so we have to understand this process, that how are they getting into that detailing. So it's like, so as tech writers, we do a reverse thing. So we are from business, we are making it from technical specifications to business language. They are doing from business language to technical. So basically we are allied roles. So we should be more, we should collaborate more with business analysts. And it's just that they have just an extra hat of that analytical thinking, getting into that real need and, real business value. What are we understanding, or what is it that it is actually satisfying a need for a stakeholder? Because ultimately everything boils down to numbers at the end of the day. If our content is not generating value, if it is not solving anybody's problem, they're just piece of some document and it's of no use. That's something I think Mugdha has also mentioned. I think all the sessions we are trying to convey the same thing, that let us be more useful to the organization at an org level. Also because then we are understanding our users better. Okay, so let's just understand what a business analyst does, what are the different elements that they cover up in their day-to-day kind of work. So stakeholders is something from where it starts. So there is a need, there is a gap, suppose, and so based on the interviewing with them, getting into their brainstorming, understanding their user personality, their characteristics, different kind of domains that they are talking about, what they want. So we then get into the requirements. So the requirements will come only when we understand our user at the nitty-gritty level. Only then the business analyst is able to put them. So I don't know how many of you have referred to the business requirement documents in your daily work. So do you go to that for content? Yeah, you do, right? So you must have seen something that they are all tied up to some kind of numbers, right? So there are functional requirements which connects to some kind of matrix, some kind of some kind of features. So it will be all numbers. So basically everything gets down into the actual requirement. So the gap, the business value that we are trying to create. So with that, so based on the requirements, we will then create the design. So the design is more helpful. Business value is obviously. And through all of this, doing it in the right way, we are showing more empathy towards our user. That is where our stakeholders are getting benefited. We earn, we are delivering value to our customers, and we are, so I'm not saying that all business analysts are great. Even there are project failures, there are a lot of things that happens because of lack of analysis, lack of understanding, the gap in user requirements and the end product. So agile is one way, yes, people are trying to solve a lot of issues from onset of a project. Okay, so what is the definition? So Babcock says that business analyst is responsible for eliciting the actual needs of stakeholders, which frequently involves investigating and clarifying their expressed desires in order to determine underlying issues and causes. Now I'm going to draw a similar thing for as tech writers what we do. We do similar kind of things. We are unknowingly dealing or knowingly dealing with all these elements, but in a little different format. I know you are getting hurt because I also get hurt, so it's a similar thing, So we try to put ourselves in the user's shoe. How many of us have actually read in this stc.org, the definition? So this is, everybody can see, right? So this is the definition from stc.org. It's not something that I've created. So it exactly is a parallel thing what it's in IIBA or in Babcock what is written. So business analyst does nothing great. Trust me, in day one, they are equally confused the day one when it comes to the content work that comes to us. We are at equal pace. It's just that they have a structured method, they have a structured way of approaching their work. They are more they're like technique savvy. So they have these different techniques that they apply in their work. So, they have better understanding about users. So how do they do it? So are we on same page with this diagram that we do all these things? Yeah? Any questions on this? Scope of content or content design? Anything that is not familiar or we are not into it or we don't do it every day? Do we do such things? We can be honest. It's okay. Yeah? Yeah, we don't have a structured way of doing it. Like we don't sit one day and think, okay, today I'm going to think about my stakeholders. Okay, today I'm going to think about the content scope. Okay, today I'm going to think about empathy. We don't do it because it's our thought process. We don't have it because we don't have that, knowledge behind. But if you really start understanding, and from this session, maybe you'll get a trigger point to go and know more about it. You can start thinking. It's a thought process that will help you. It's not something mandatory, but trust me, this helps. It has helped me in my career immensely. So this will help, I'm sure. Okay, so you want me to read this out? Somebody can read it for me? Oh no, everybody can read this. So I really, the thing that really, enticed me in this, that they make information more usable and accessible to those who need that information. So again, my stakeholders, who will need it. And doing so, they advance the goals of the companies or organizations that employ them. Business value. right? So basically, so when I say need of, so we tend to put also information for, all sort of information for everyone, which is again not right, because not everybody needs to know everything. So we have to modify our content little bit. I know it's a challenge because getting, user level documents like for this user, this particular, that user, that particular, it is tough, but we can always try to make it. I'll not go through, I'll just only talk about two techniques which I feel has really, it helps in, because there are numerous techniques. There are like techniques like document analysis, enterprise analysis, sequence diagram where you kind of map the whole messaging of one user to the other, So there are a lot of things, data modeling, data type information, like some 24 or 25 techniques are there. So a very exhaustive list, but you can always pick the one that suits you. So refer Babok, it will help you, I'm sure. So this is the first technique that I feel is very close to ours and we can do it. So let us just talk about stakeholder persona. So I'm sure everybody knows about user persona creating and all that. So do we do it? How do we create user personas? I think everybody is very sleepy. Exactly. How do we interview users? What sort of questionnaires do we create? So do we ask this kind of questions like, where are you going to use the document or content, which level, at what, at which, what will be the background or what will be the context? Do we get into that kind of detailing? So when I'm...
Give them a scenario and
exactly.
allow them to respond.
Exactly, exactly. So this is what is persona creating. So basically we try to, create fictional characters. Their characteristics is something very important for us to understand. Like what Mugdha had mentioned in her, session, that we need to understand our characteristics to have that mind map, to have that empathy map. We need to also understand their characteristics are in fact much more important because ultimately we're doing it for them. So I'll show you one, no, that's for different one. Okay. So if, suppose WhatsApp, okay, let us just talk about WhatsApp. We all use WhatsApp, right? What do you use WhatsApp for? What are your main things?
Connecting with the groups, friends, groups.
How do you connect? WhatsApp, you use it, right? There's an interface for it. So you chat, correct? What are the other ways of use? Yes, call. What else? So for calls, what are the other things? So if you are, suppose, an entrepreneur, okay, so how are you going to use your WhatsApp? What will be the major things that you will look, to use WhatsApp for? Exactly. And suppose you're a student or like a, somebody who is like retired and, like, okay, let us talk about our grandmom or, our parents who have just, they don't have so much of things, like they don't have like career or professional life or something, but they're just using it. So what are the main things that they use it for?
Connect with
Different people, right? So do we understand this thing that we, for one single product or one single thing, we have different kind of characteristics, right? We have different characters using it. So we need to define them in a particular way. So this helps us creating documents which will be useful for each one of them. Not everybody needs to go through the entire content piece, right? So even in our business proposals, we have content, like there are sections which we only do for pricing. So those are commercials, those that goes into just the finance guys. There are legal matters which goes to the legal team of the client. So the whole content, although it's a bundle, it's like a one zip document, but still there are portions. But sometimes what happens is we tend to mix everything at one go. We are talking numbers. Numbers are important, obviously metrics are important for everyone. But we tend to put all information in one document. This is something that even in presentations also, like marketing presentations, for sales presentations, sales sometimes they want everything at one time. But they are not very clear about who are they going to deliver it. Whom are they going to, they are going to present this information. So we are not very clear about when we write as content, designers or information designers, we don't have a very clear picture. So that's the time when we should be more intrusive in, we should be like really behind their life to understand, yes, can you please tell me who am I writing for? Or where will the person be using it? I know I'm repeating myself, when are we going to use it, when are we going to, but this is really important. Okay, so any doubt on this? So there are different, there are different ways of doing it. We can use such things like what they have said, group surveys, questionnaire, interviews. We can also, if like we have such users in our physically present or in even of, through web conferencing and all these things, we can always do with mix this with brainstorming sessions. They're really helpful. You can have a proper way of, first also you can just circulate your questions and ask them to first have a thought process behind it, then the objective, and the whole session is very structured and you know exactly what endpoint are you trying to reach through. But obviously you should not restrict your users. Let them just bring in questions or, bring in their thought processes. So another thing is concept modeling. Okay, I'll do it, let's just do it with, okay, so for WhatsApp, so this is basically a technique where we put loosely all the terms, all the domain terms, terminologies, different concepts in one place. It need not have anything linear in structure. They are not, methodology, there's only method driven. It is not even that it is any technique driven or any data dependent, nothing. They are just concepts. So if I, let me see, let's just try this. So for WhatsApp, what are the things that we will be doing? Exactly. Then? For calls, there can be? Video, audio, exactly. Okay. So from chat, will it be file sharing, right? Exactly. Okay, next. Group chat. Broadcast, group chat, broadcast, yeah. Okay. So only this, I'm sure there are other stuff as well. Status.
You can upload pic or you can write your own words in your own words.
Yes, status messaging. Nowadays, I don't use it. Okay. See, young people, good.
File share has more options like
So anything else for status? Anything we're trying to?
yes, means when you type something, it will come as like a written poster kind of thing in the status. So people almost like them or read them.
They like them also.
No, people.
It's like Facebook.
We can see like if the person whom we want to send that message saw that message or not.
Oh, okay. Right. So basically, interaction again, right? Not interaction. It will be more share.
Asking for attention.
So we are trying to basically mix Facebook, Instagram, everything in WhatsApp right now. It is no more just texting or just messaging. It is something now going beyond. Okay, so see, so when WhatsApp had started, it must have been only this, right? Only chat. Only chat. In fact, only this region.
Only chat with the pic. We can even share pics.
Exactly, yeah, we can share pics. Video. Documents. Then location. Contacts, yes. What else? Anything else I'm missing?
Yeah, you missing groups. It was starting with the less member, then it increased to very large number. Actually,
It's very easy on WhatsApp.
I'm sure. This guy is like, now I'm afraid I don't want to show my image here anymore. I didn't cover all these
You
things.
can ask him about the upcoming features.
Ah. So what else?
I had forgotten that group chat was limited to 100 people and then it increased. So I had forgotten this actually.
Yeah, because
I didn't know only.
we started in my college just by sharing our whatever notes was there. We used to take the pics of all the
And you
notes
share it in there.
and we
Wow,
used to
yeah.
share it in WhatsApp and everyone used to get that one. So we used to take our like
Okay. So this is, I mean, WhatsApp is something that is, I would not say limited, but it's a small thing. Just put this thing in light of, something like a very, what do you say, complicated domain like finance. Or, something like manufacturing, those IoT based products and all those things. So they will have so much, the vocabulary is huge. The glossary, if you really, get into that. Anyone who have ever done glossary writing in their career? Yeah. So, do you think that kind of profession, this thing would have helped? Like putting all the terms, maybe not explaining that right now, but you put it loosely everywhere, and then you connect. So, I must tell you something, that this concept modeling is very similar to mind maps, okay? And also there are different kind of softwares which actually helps you to convert this whole into a TOC. Now don't ask me those names, I am very technically challenged in all these things. I am good with my pen and paper, I just do it myself. So there are, please look into Google, just search, I'm sure you will get it, people who are really, all these kind of, into these kind of domains. You can use those softwares to create a TOC, actually it gets generated. So now if I really link everything, so these are the main things, right? So everything is related. Yes.
Because now when you said entity and relationships, you are using glossary terms and you are
Correct.
defining it further.
Yes, entity relationship is also one of our techniques in BAs. Babok, has a thing written on it. But entity relationship diagrams sometimes become a little bit complicated because they have certain data inputs, because and this is data free. So this is good for people who are at the onset trying to conceptualize how their document or their content will look like, what it will, be talking about. So at that level, this is good. Entity relationship is the next phase, like next deep down approach. Yeah, so you guys can also refer to this also, entity relationship diagrams. They are also very good. So this is a very simple one. So this similar kind of thing you can apply for in your domains as well. Whatever, the product, especially this is helpful for product development companies because they deal with lot of terms and terminologies. This helps to bring your user, your entire stakeholder ecosystem at one place. So everybody understands and everybody knows about what are we talking about, what are the terminologies that we are discussing in our documents.
you finish all the topics immediately and immediately you release it. But after when one main feature gets highlighted, they tell, okay, rewrite this every.
Okay.
The footage of point, can it be transferred? and
Yes.
can it be,
See, so when a business analyst starts writing the BRD, so the thing starts from value, the matrix, which is the critical to quality metric that is in your application or service that is important. So from there it starts, critical to quality matrix, primary matrix, secondary matrix. So, but the fact is that sometimes the secondary matrix can be more important at the real time when it actually gets implemented, the solution validation, all those things are done. So what happens is we can always sometimes see that no, the second part is more important that the first matrix that we thought would be more useful. So in that case, what I would suggest is, this is something, you just write the concept. So everything should be equally explained. Obviously features will be like something will be like, somewhere is a location might not be that important like what a call feature will be, right? So yes, we have to prioritize that. Again, it's basis on how we are understanding our user. where he or she, what is the use actually. Again, it goes down to the same thing. So it's like our critical thinking capability and our analytical skills, how we define and we prioritize the document, components and features. So this is how typically it looks like. I would show one thing, just one second. So this is a concept model for Flickr. So this is how it gets complicated. So you see the amount of detailing that is being done. Is it visible? It's not, it's visible, yeah? So see the amount of detailing that is done, how how each and every feature is communicating with, each other. So this level of detailing we can get into if we really get down to start understanding and writing each and everything. So the last thing, this is my end, the last slide. So business analysis core concept model. I'm not going to do a deep down for this. You can again refer Babok, and if you have questions, please get back to me. This is a model which a business analyst follow at every stage of their work. They will always think about a need, whatever they're trying to implement, whatever they're trying to get done, whatever they're trying to get it developed, tested, validated, they will always do with this model. They will completely set boundaries for them with this thought process. What is the need? What is the change that is required to implement that need or to get that need satisfied? What are the different solutions? So a business analyst or person who is trying to create value will just not think about one solution. We have to think multiple options so that we are more creative in our approach. Then the context, the circumstances that will influence that kind of need to get implemented, the value that we will be creating for our stakeholders. So this is, I'm not getting into very detailed level expression because this is really deep. So this you can apply in every section, in every stage of your work. So if you want to know more about it, please get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to help you and make you. So I would encourage you guys to just go into IIBA website and look for, if you are like interested really in doing these certifications and all, it really helps. It helps because it will, you will have a thought process. You will have that analytical thought process. And I always feel that, technical writers are much better communicators. I mean, they are the communicating people. They are the communicators, right? But business analysts are more valued because they have that, the numbers that they talk about. So that way, yes, we have to get into that level to make sure that our documents are more useful at the end of the day. And we are creating value and we are perceived as, value people, valuable, contributors or valuable team members in the organization. Because otherwise, most of the time, technical writers are like, सिर्फ लिखते हैं ये लोग, पता ही नहीं क्या करते हैं. तो, yes.
So can a technical writer also do this activity?
Yes, I have started like that. So BA concept, why? Because BAs really get into the understanding of domain. They will talk about process improvements. We don't talk about all that. They get it. So when we say this Six Sigma process improvement, black belt, green belt, who are the people doing it? They are the BAs doing it. Because they understand the business very well. They understand the value. They understand the matrix, the numbers. We don't get into that. This is a thought process that we have to start imbibing. So once we do it, I'm sure you can start, even all of us can do it. I mean, what is the critical to quality measure? Suppose an automation project, if you take, right? Suppose you have to automate something. What is it that you're trying to get in? Some value, right? Some numbers. You're trying to reduce a person effort time, or you're trying to, be more like time, turnaround time, higher turnaround time or something, time to market and all these things. So how come? We have to get into that. So our documents should be, making a person life easier. The training, so ultimately what the documents that we are creating, it's just not used by us. So the BRDs are used by us. We can make better BRDs, trust me. The specifications, if you see a very, the normal BAs write, if we write the similar thing, we'll have a much better, we'll write it in a much crisp and more clarity will be there. I have myself applied this and I've understood we are very good at it, much better than them. It's just that they have that analytical bend of mind. That's it. So I don't know about two different people why doing it. It's just that we are foreseen as, we are foreseen as more of cosmetic people who does cosmetic surgery. They are like more heart surgeons and they are like more neurologist kind of. So we are like more cosmetic. नाक ठीक कर दिया, थोड़ा lips ठीक कर दिए, makeup डाल दिया, ऐसा type के. That's a difference.
Here, what happens in our side, BA gives the rough information,
Hmm.
and we use standard templates and we make it proper, fair,
Hmm.
and then it is shared with the client.
Proper fair in the sense we do what exactly?
We use tools, we author it in some specific tools, we
Okay.
do the style guides, and then we publish it to the developers.
Develop to the developers. Okay.
FS documents, PRD to the business people. So this type of documents, the actual user is the developer only. If you talk about FS, PRD.
Okay.
So that is shared to the developers.
Okay.
Write the actual code by seeing this.
By reading the functional requirements, features, and all these things.
So developers we can outsource the developer from other organization also.
Okay, okay, like that.
We need to have a proper FS or PRD document.
Okay. So this is a career opportunity for you.
So we are doing absolutely
You can now better go and tell them, I know what it is, I know all the techniques, I know what are the knowledge areas. I can be a BA, I can play both the roles.
because in your company you
So when I was in Bank of America, I had, I was doing a mixed role. So I started initially as a technical writer, but eventually the documents that the BAs used to get it on so-called BAs, I thought, no, these are not making any sense. So I went into it. I said, I'm going to do the requirements gathering. Yeah, it was a lot of fight, but okay, we all have to do it. So.
did the roles are defined like PRD and FS will be done by business
Yeah, they used to make me also write the functional specifications.
They have guide and so that's like it's defined.
No, but you can always push, right?
I'm asking in your company.
Yeah. So what I did was I told them that yes, give it to me, I'll write it better. Give it to me, I'll make the requirements more clear and crisp for you. The QA life will be easier and it will be all good. So yes, we have to push a little bit, but I'm sure we do a better job in this. And with a tech writing background, it's a lethal combination. Just go for it, guys. I'm sure, try to get that hat on. It will be helpful. Thanks. Any more questions?
One last question, if you can,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
No questions. People
Okay.
are
Thank you so much, Sanchari.
welcome. Thanks a lot. Yes, she has a question. She has a question.
This core concept is something that you are doing to create a product, right? It comes early in the life cycle of the product.
It comes from the onset, or even during, if you're like at midway of your product, which is going to get enhanced, or anywhere, any stage of the product, development, not development, even the maintenance, you can start thinking again. So, like you can get into the thought process of how to improve, how to create more value.
Yeah, but a tech writer comes into the picture a little later, right? So how can I relate to this concept model?
So exactly, that's what I'm trying to tell you, that we have to push, we have to tell people that please involve us from day one, because we'll be creating the document which people are going to read. Even the business analysts are going to read our training documents and go and give demos. They don't do demos on their own. They read our documents, they need our documents. So we have to tell them, guys, we are there. So you have to, kind of push and make, because we can't be anymore, we can't be silent people, because we are actually communicating. Our documents are getting read. So yeah, we have to be more aggressive. Any more questions?
If I can please request Mr. Bibhu Datta Sahu, STC Bangalore City representative, huge round of applause, please.